like 10 times 2 to the 1. It would just say 10 times to the 1 number. And it would be 1 because...
What are you guys thinking?
Well, I thought, look at this. Okay, so you know how 5 times 4 is 20?
Okay.
So you could do like instead of like 5 times 8. So yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's times 4.
Okay. So you're trying to find the connection between the denominator and what it's turning into as a decimal. You're on the right track.
It's just, you're so close, but there's the number line.
Correct. But what if the number line wasn't there, Savannah?
So
You're not using it.
You have to find the number. Talk together. I'm listening.
I still really got her.
He's really close.
No, I'm still not going to talk. So you don't get I need to work it out.
Very good.
Do you understand why it has to be intense? Why does this have to be intense? The decimals are intense. What if I did this? What if I did this? Does that change the answer? Or does it change the value?
Got it.
What do you think? Because they're definitely on the right track, girls. On the right track. Good job.
No, we're not trying. Troy has figured this out. I want you to figure this out.
Troy figured it out?
He's so close. He's got a little step. Like his theory's got.
Dude, your theory is so spot on right now.
Isn't it? But he's using one. He says it's because he erases the one. Like he's at
Just leave the one. Put the fraction bar back here. There you go. Voices are off.
Did you see what he did to get the O2? I was like, that's a
It's funny.
good theory.
Voices are off. 3, 2, 1. All right. So what I want to know, there's a couple groups that have figured it out. What I want to know is, how do you, without the model, without the number line, figure out that those are equivalent? Well, here's where we start. We have to ask ourselves first, what size pieces is this bar cut into? What fraction are we working with? What size pieces? Carly, fifths, right? These are fifths. When we talk about decimal world, we just talked about it. That's why I asked you to remember, where did we start? What are the 2 places that we work in decimal world? Mallory? Tenths and hundredths. So this number line right here is showing us a number line made of tenths. Okay? So this is tenths. Has there ever been a fraction that converts into a decimal? Do we have a 5th place in decimal world? No. So we can't just plug it in. Do we have a 7th place in decimal world? Do we have a 12th place in decimal world? No. We've got 2 places. But what do we have the power to do with all of those numbers that don't fit? Duncan, nice and loud. What do we have the power to change?
You can multiply them into a number that will fit.
We can manipulate them and multiply them into a number that will fit. So, Duncan and his group took the number 1/5 and they said, can I get tens out of that fifth? How? Well, look at that. What does this look like? Something that you already know how to do. You know how to find an equivalent fraction. So I end up with what? Rock? I multiply by 2, and I end up with 2/10. Say it again, Rock. What do I end up with? 2/10. Do you know how to write 2/10 as a fraction?
Yes.
Do you also know how to write 2/10 as a decimal?
Yes.
So you just did it. That's the formula. You find an equivalent fraction either in the tenths or the hundredths. Okay? All right, so let's do another one. I'm going to let you do this on your own. Let's see if you can figure out the equivalent decimal for 3/5. See if you can figure out the equivalent decimal for 3/5 with the calculation model.
Oh, this is
Okay, whoa.
What did you multiply 5 by?
What do you do?
Yeah, let's say 1 times 5.
So better way and get started on this one.
Right, so multiply by 3 if you multiply the top anybody right there.
Is it real way and get started on your work? Thank you.
You have to multiply by 3.
Okay.
So it's 2 times
Okay, so I write that into a decimal.
You don't know that we don't have income for that.
But you're going to have 3 fifths. This has to be a 3 up there.
Carly, I'm not sure how that works.
So now, 3 times 2.
What place is the 30th place?
And how do you write that?
Take the 3/5.
And you put 10 on 5.
One of the places. Okay, so what is it?
What do you multiply 5 with?
3 plus 2 is 5.
Now read that number.
So you multiply 5 by 2. Yeah, you multiply 5 times.
That's not quite right. Leave that 3/5 right there.
Now how do you write this down?
Put 3/5 down on your paper. Okay, girls. What places do decimals have? What are the ones that we're using? Yeah, 1s and 10s. 10s and 100s. Can we turn this fraction into something that you
answer done?
Yes, how do you do that? You're scanning those. Right to equal sign. How do we make an equivalent fraction? We want it to be 10. So that new denominator has to be either 10 or 100. If you make it 100, that's fine. 10's easier. Okay. How do you do that? So now read that number that you have. Do you know what 6/10 is? What?
That works for everything? Yeah.
What place is the 10th spot? It's one place down. Is there anything in the one place? Then your decimal. What's the ones place? Or the 10th place? Is there anything in your 100th place? Why do you need the tenth?
I had this one.
The place says the tenth. So how many are in your tenth?
I want to read that too. Always.
Nope, that's 6 and 100. Nope, that's 6 and 100. Is this more than a whole? We're less than a whole.
See? 2, 0. No.
All right.
Okay, so.
Here we go. 3/5. We want something that will fit into decimal world, which is made of tenths and hundredths. Do we have the power to change that 3/5 into tenths? Yes, we do. So Lydia, how did I get from 5 to 10 if I want to make those fifths into tenths?
You times it by 2, so whatever you do at the bottom, you do to the top.
You got it. And then this number is said, how do we say this number? Mallory? 6/10. We have a tenths place, don't we? Yeah. And how many are in it? 6. So our 3/5 is equal to 0.6 or 6/10.
That's what I have.
Very good.
Well, I did it 3 ways.
Okay, did you get the same answer each time?
Pretty much.
It's either yes or no. Do you have the extra zeros? Is that what you mean by pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're fine. You're good.
Because I did.
No, you're good. Okay? All right, so, right. Just don't confuse everyone else. I get where you're going, okay? Fist of 5 on how we feel about this. Very good. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Erase your board.
Don't forget that rule though. You got your rule? No, we're gonna do something else together. If they want to do another one, we got it.
This one will be very similar. And the next one will be very similar. This one's easy.
You should know the rule.
I'll wait. Lilo, what were my directions? Lilo, what were my directions? Then why are you writing on it? Okay. This time what we're going to do is we're going to simply fill in a number line. But this part is going to give your brain some training into remembering the difference between the tenths and the hundredths, which we should be pretty comfortable with by now, but sometimes it's helpful to have those reminders. It says list all the numbers between 4.01 and 4.10 that have 2 decimal places. So these two numbers right here already exist. So we're listing between 4.01 is right there, and 4.10. So if I'm feeling now into this next place, what is this number line cut into? What size pieces? Savannah? Tell me what you're thinking.
First I was thinking tenths,
Mm-hmm.
but then I really think it's hundreds.
Okay, so which is it?
I really think it's hundreds.
It is, you're right. It's hundredths. This is cut into hundredths because the difference, it says it, yes. But you're going from 4 to 4.10. This is definitely cut into hundredths because it's a very small range that we're within, okay? So, I want someone to come up here and label that green mark. Catherine? Very good. Who thinks Catherine is correct? Did she follow the guidelines of list all the numbers between 4.01 and 4.10 that have 2 decimal places? So does her number have 2 decimal places?
Yes.
Yes, it does. I need someone else to go up there and label any other number that they want. Carly? Very good. Does Carly's meet the requirements? Is it between 4.01 and 4.10? Yes. And does it have 2 decimal places? Yes. So, I need another volunteer to fill in a number that fits those requirements. Daisy, go ahead. Very good, Daisy. All right, can someone else fill in that meets the requirements? Troy, if you need to write on top of the line, you can.
What is that?
Alexis, I told you that if you shouted out again, I would ask you to leave. Do you remember that? Maybe you need to go take a break right now, Miss Tracy. And you know what? Dr. Martelli will take you. Very good, Troy. Thank you, sir. All right, the next, well, we still have a couple that need to be filled in. Hopefully they fit the rules. Haley? Very good. Is there anything else that we can fill in that still fits the requirements? Okay. Diana? Very good, Diana. Okay. If there's more to fill in, I'll gladly take some volunteers. Savannah, go ahead. Okay, very good, Savannah. I was just gonna come down there. Yeah. It's a watch.
Yeah.
And if there's anything else that needs to be filled in, Lindsay, go ahead. Very nice. So here is my final question to you. This is where you're going to work on your board. I want you to keep this private. This is not something you're going to work on with a neighbor. Now answer the questions on your board. It says, list all the numbers between 4.01 and 4.10 that have 2 decimal places. Please do that on your board now. Remember to keep this private. You tell me. Lydia, you don't need the number line, honey. I just asked you to list them. You just need to list them, Austin.